Nice. That was good, Pedro. I was waiting for the WTBS, like NWA World Championship Wrestling theme to pop up next.
Hey, hola amigos, and welcome to the Mark Out Mania.
Yeah.
We've got who do we got over here? Oh my God, look, it's James the Extreme Sorno, aka Jim House. How are you?
I am good, my friend. I am good. I'm ready to get into today's show. Talk some wrestling. It's been a minute. Talk some Cocaine Bear and Mad Heidi while we're at it. I'm good.
We are all waiting for.
Oh God! Stop it!
Oh my goodness!
Stop it!
My heart nearly jumped out of my chest because of the thunder. Because he approaches. It's
Lord.
the God of Thunder, Zeus King Dark, the Road Warrior Scholar, the college graduate, the super famous. How are you?
And Tanahashi's buddy.
That's
yes.
Right. Tanahashi is my friend.
How you doing today, big man?
I am, at my wit's end, stressed out, but handling it pretty well. I got a lot of help. I got a lot of people that support me.
There you go.
Making it happen.
Zeus is the leader of this generation's horsemen. There you go.
Oh man, it begins.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there. Boys, it's good to be back after last week's hiatus.
Oh my God, Jackie Chan says Rush Hour 4 is in the works.
No one wants it.
What? Why?
It's been too long, man.
Nobody. Isn't Chris Tucker dead? Like, why?
No, he's not
dead. James.
Chan's older than Chris Tucker.
I know. I'm just joking. I'm just like his career. I mean, like, why?
Well, I mean, we know why, because Hollywood's out of ideas, and they can make some money on it. That's why.
Oh.
Like they could put an hour and a half of crap together, and it's still going to make money. I mean, it have to be really, really bad for that movie not to make money at this point. This is
why I'm waiting ever so patiently for Cocaine Bear. This is why.
White line.
Still, that trailer is the best trailer I've seen in years. I don't even care if the movie's good. The trailer just kills it.
Yeah, I expect it to be gloriously bad, James.
Yeah, absolutely.
That movie and the Mad Heidi, both of them are just going to be gloriously awful movies, and I want to see them all.
The Mad Heidi's in the vein of Planet Terror, Grindhouse, like the shit like that.
Yeah, I lost my shit when they execute the boyfriend in the trailer, and the way his head explodes it's like if you imagine a CGI of a Muppet exploding, like the 3D model, like just popping.
Yeah.
And it was hilariously so awful and over the top the way they did it. It was amazing. It's just suddenly I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out.
I love it. Woo.
Yeah, Cocaine Bear looks. I mean, I've watched the trailer a few times. Bean, his brother, does these reaction videos, and Bean produces them. He puts them together and all this stuff, and so between watching the trailer and watching the Bean's brother react to this trailer, I've gotten really hyped for this movie. Stephanie and I have avoided going to the movie theaters since 2020 because all the stuff, the crud, we'll call it the crud out there.
You're afraid to catch a cold? Yeah.
Yeah. But we are talking about going back to the theaters for this movie for Cocaine Bear.
Man. I think I'm with you on that. I think I'm with you on that. I gotta see that on
the trailer this week.
Do what?
I still haven't seen the trailer for it. So
You still haven't seen the
Oh,
trailer, Zeus? Oh, come on, man. Come
get off,
on.
get off the show. No, I'm just go watch it, then come back. Joking.
What? Even Tanahani just texted me. He said he can't believe you haven't watched the trailer.
yeah.
Did you just call him Tanahati?
Tanahani? That's hot.
The slip
Tanahati.
there.
Oh my god. Oh, Zeus, you got to watch that trailer. It's spectacular.
Yeah, watch the Mad Heidi one as well. Watch both of those trailers.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's some good shit. Woo! So first of all, my thoughts to pressure call out to Barry Windham. I hope he's recovering from his heart attack because nobody knows more about that than I do. So I know exactly what he's going through. So I've had 5 of them, so I know. So I'm hoping that he's doing what needs to be done, and everything's okay for him. Speedy recovery.
Gary
Tough.
Michael Capetta said yesterday that he's been moved out of ICU.
That's excellent.
So,
Great news. Awesome. Yeah. That is good stuff. That's good stuff. Because it's a shame, It's a shame.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, age, injuries, and, he's just part of that generation that.
But he isn't that much older than us, right? Or no, is he?
I mean, he started wrestling in 1980, and I think he was about 18.
Oh, okay.
He's 62.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's still young to be going through that.
Yeah.
I mean, his body's changed throughout the years too, because he's no longer that lean, thin. I mean, he hasn't been that in a long time, but that definitely plays a factor,
Our thoughts and prayers. Now let me hit him on his current physique.
No, it's just because
I know,
because it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, I know.
It's tough.
I know.
Yeah, because my first heart attack, I was almost 300 pounds, so I know.
Mm.
I was 284, so it's tough. It's tough. Brutal.
Yeah.
But get well, Barry.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely, if you know me, I'm a huge fan.
Mm-hmm.
I have been since
Angie.
Angie. Oh my
Angie
God.
loves Barry Windham. Oh my God, please.
I mean, we didn't do like a graphic once where Angie's basically like dating Barry Windham in the graphic. So
yeah,
I think she blew it up and put it on her wall.
I always feel like Barry Windham. I don't know if this is incorrect or not, but I always feel like Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes are like 2 of the most like just natural wrestlers. Like they just seem like just out of the womb. They just seem like they just got it. Like in terms of how the moving, the technical aspect, right? They just seem Pedro, like to just have it like from the start.
That's what actually happens when you're a second generation wrestler and your father's somebody big in the business and you actually pay attention to what's happening in the ring. So you can actually learn how to do that shit, unlike other sons of famous wrestlers who don't know how to do dick. So you see what I'm saying? There you go. But no, I mean, like in the 80s at the time where, like the NWA was the big boom and, like it was World Championship Wrestling on TBS. I mean, there were very few people who were smoother, if at all, than Barry Windham in that ring. Yeah, he was smooth. It was like water. Watching him, I mean, for a big man like that, he was silk, Well,
one of the things obviously that helped a lot is, he was trained by his dad, Jake Mulligan, who was a big man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and they said that Harley Race helped train him as well. So for an 18, 19-year-old kid, starting out, I mean, you don't have a much better it's hard to imagine a much better, um, you know, couple of guys training you to become pro wrestlers.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's no. You know.
And another thing too is, you know, he started out in Florida.
Yeah.
So, you know, Florida wrestling was hot, you know, and it had a lot of people in there. There's a lot of just huge names. Dusty was there, you know, of course, JJ Dillon, you know,
That's
Black
when he was
Bart,
fighting with the Black
Ron
Bart and Cowboy
Bass,
Ron Bass. Yeah.
Ron
Yeah.
Bass.
He was duking it out with Kevin Sullivan, Purple Haze, all those people. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And, you know, so he's, you know,
He was
he did start out, you know, and he was a Blackjack Mulligan Jr. And then he got
Yeah.
away from that.
Yeah.
And you talk about, you know, I'd love to hear the him deciding to not be Blackjack Mulligan Jr. anymore. You know, I mean, that's just, you know, it seems like you know, you really have to have a lot of confidence in who you are, and
Absolutely.
you know, to step away from you know, your father's name like that.
I would love to hear his response after working hard to make it on his own name, then having to come back to the WWF for the second time and do that shitty gimmick called the New Blackjacks. Remember that?
Yeah,
I would love to hear him discuss like why would he even? I'm sure Vince didn't give him much of a choice, but I mean, I would love him to discuss it after working so hard, and he was a multiple tag team champion in WWF already.
right.
You know?
Well, I think though that, you know, a lot of people talked about the Blackjack thing was, you know, it was a kind of a tribute
Right.
because JBL is related to Blackjack Lanza.
Mm.
So, you know, it was kind of a, you know, I didn't think that was it wasn't great, but I don't think you know, it's not like they, you know, turned him into the Blue Blazer or, you know,
No.
Clown or anything like
Well,
that.
they did try to give him that fake Undertaker gimmick. Remember?
The Widowmaker. The Widowmaker.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go, the Widowmaker. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
cool.
before the Undertaker. But
Right,
yeah.
right, yeah. You know, but
But
I
that was,
mean,
you know, that whole thing, you know, they really missed out on that. They had 3 of the 4 horsemen there.
yeah,
No, that's
You know?
right.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And-
You're right. Yeah,
And there, I remember it was in the one of the PWI family of magazines was saying that, you know, that they could reform the Horsemen in the WWF with like Ted DiBiase as the lead,
right.
you know, and then, you know, they could have done that, and that would have been interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Ted DiBiase with Tully and Arn and Barry Windham, holy crap!
Yeah, I'd have paid money to see that. Absolutely.
The thing I remember most about the Widowmaker run was there's a time limit draw match, of course, a time limit draw match with Tito Santana, but it was really good.
Yeah. Tito was just so
Yeah, well, he was the man
so
back
good
then.
too.
Yeah, but
Tito
see,
had, yeah,
yeah, but his most famous run in the WWF, it was him and Mike Rotunda's U.S. Express,
yeah.
and you know they killed it as the tag teams. You know, they had some good matches back then. You know, there was good stuff back then.
I do have his trading card as the Widowmaker.
Really, for real?
Yeah, I used to have all those. I had those first 2 years worth of
Well, hey,
cards.
listen, man, it could have
James.
been worse. They could have put him under a hood with an axe.
James,
Whoa.
you ever see Angie show off a trading card of Barry Windham as the Widowmaker?
No, never.
Okay, so I had 2 of them, and I sent her one of them.
Right. Nice. Yeah, I'm sure she appreciates that. She loves her some Barry, boy.
Yeah, she does.
She addicted. It's like crack to her.
What? Come on now. Now, someone call Angie. Let's get her on.
That's it. Let's get on the show. Angie, stop doing. I was gonna say.
Right?
I was gonna say, Angie, stop doing Barry Windham and get on the show.
Stop what? Let's watch what we're saying, James. Come on.
Oh man, at this point, who cares?
Oh.
So
Oh, man.
did either of you guys get to see Barry live?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
But
I did. Yeah.
It was with it was when they were doing the what's that gimmick with the rap is crap?
Oh
Yeah, West Texas Rednecks.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
James, I would say that's his number 2 most famous.
Really?
But because of the audience size from Nitro and Thunder back then, I would say that's his number 2 most famous thing he's probably remembered for.
I saw him live in the Philly house show, NWA house show in Philly.
Nice.
The Spectrum. Yeah, the old Spectrum. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw him. I saw him at the August 1990 show. It was him and Arn wrestled Paul Orndorff and Junkyard Dog.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Okay, that's nice.
I saw him wrestle Lex Luger after Luger had won the world title and Flair was gone. And I think I was like second row or first row for that match. And
So tell me you booed the shit out of Luger.
oh yeah, of course.
Good job.
And but of course there was a lot of chants of we want Flair.
Yeah.
And I remember Barry just kind of leaning on the ropes and looking at everybody. He's like, tough shit.
You got me.
He ain't here. He ain't coming back right now, you know. So, and
Let me ask you a question, Zeus. Hold on. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but you just reminded me of something. Let me ask you a question before I forget. Do you think it did Barry a disservice that they didn't let Flair drop the belt to Wyndham on his way out?
I mean, I think that would have changed things. I think that would have been a better scenario for the title itself and everything at that Great American Bash that was so terrible.
Yeah.
You know, if Barry had gotten to win the world title and just walked in there and then if he had to drop it to Luger, so be it. But I think that would have been the better idea. I mean, but that was the powers that be that made the decision not to. So
yeah,
all that kind of seemed to happen so fast for everybody that nobody really was able to lay out solid plans. So, but that night he wrestled Luger that I saw. Harley Race helped Luger cheat to win, and of course Luger him and Harley hightailed it out of the ring when it was over, because I think it was it was like a roll up with a tight pull or something like that,
right?
And so because Barry had been a heel and he still wasn't like a full-fledged baby face, but the crowd in Greensboro that night, we just kept the applause just kept getting louder and louder for him.
Right.
And he's kind of like looking around at everybody, kind of confused. He's like, I'm not a good guy, and I lost. Why are you cheering for me? And then finally he got up off his knee, because he was kind of on his knees looking around, and he got up to his feet and looked around and just kind of acknowledged the crowd, and that really made it a cool moment.
Yeah. I think the only time I ever saw Barry get really, really booed, I mean really booed, is the night he turned on Luger. In that tag match with Tully and Arn.
Oh yeah, yeah. He
That,
was.
that's the night that everybody was like, holy shit, and the crowd went nuts on him. And he beat the shit out of Luger in the middle of the ring. I mean, me, of course, I was cheering. But yeah.
Oh,
because it was him and Luger versus Tully and Arn. Remember that?
Yeah, because when
that was in Greensboro, wasn't it?
Huh?
That was in Greensboro, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. But that ended like 8, almost 9 years of Barry being a baby face.
Really?
Yeah, he'd never been a heel before.
That was awesome.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, really? Jacksonville? That's where it was? Okay.
And yeah, that was that was a huge.
I think it was Greensboro.
Well, they won the titles in Greensboro at Clash of
Champions. Okay, there you go.
But I remember that they were the Horsemen kept telling Barry it's like he's gonna let you down. He's not gonna be there when you need him. And Barry wanted to make that tag over and over again, and Luger wasn't there. And
he was outside on the floor, fucking selling nothing. Yeah,
right. But then like when he tagged Luger and brought him in and jerked him into the ring. And then he picked him up by his chin and just looked at him like, you fucking disappointment. And just laid him out with the lariat.
Yeah.
And then, and Tully and Arn are like, they're like, what's going on? But JJ knew. JJ, he's leaning back, he's smiling, he's laughing.
That was the famous promo afterwards. That was a famous promo. He said, all of us had a plan going in. It was awesome.
Right.
It was awesome how they did it.
Well, I tell you another thing that I remember too about that was really kind of intriguing is that that Tully and Arn were a little resentful at first. Because I remember a promo where, like Arn, he kind of insinuated they didn't need any help winning the belts back,
right?
And it was really interesting because Barry was clearly loved by Flair and JJ, and it took a little bit for Arn and Tully to come around because Barry had been clearly a huge thorn in their side. Plus, he was the one that it was him and Luger that defeated them at the Clash of Champions. Yeah. So I think it was brilliant storytelling, and it just came off so well to me. That it took a little bit of time for them to gel.
That was some good shit back then.
Yeah,
was it really that good, or it was just we wasn't so jaded? Yet, because of all this shit storytelling now.
Yeah.
But it was good stuff back then.
Yeah.
It was good, man.
And then I saw Barry and Dustin against Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton.
Nice.
And that was fantastic.
That's nice.
They were the double tag team champions at that point. And that was in Winston-Salem. And I
think that was an underrated tag team, Barry and Dustin.
They beat Gordy and Williams. Yeah, I'd say they're highly underrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw Barry Windham and Stunning Steve Austin wrestle at Fort Bragg.
Oh,
nice. Stunning Steve.
And it's so funny because he, like everybody, they didn't. The gymnasium wasn't set up. It wasn't set up to be an arena. Really, it was just. It really was just a gym. that just happened to have a large capacity, because you had all those people, living there on base that could come watch a, basketball game or whatever, volleyball, whatever they wanted to play. And it just kind of grew into somewhere that, wrestling could go, especially, to help, bring something to the troops and their families. But they literally had to walk past us waiting in line to get into the gym.
Nice.
And I remember Steve just walking by, and I was like, "Oh, how's it going, Steve?" Or he's like, "Hey, how's it going?"
It was flowing locks back then, right?
No, he got.
That's when he had the short hair. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that later.
Gotcha.
That later run.
The Hollywood blonde look, right?
Well, it's still before that, because it was right around that Great American Bash '92, because that was a night I got to see the Steiners versus Gordy and Williams, Wyndham versus Steve Austin, and then the main event was Sting and Nikita Koloff against Big Van Vader and Rick Rude.
Nice. Speaking of the Steiners, did you see that thing that Casey posted on Twitter?
No.
How he said the Steiners are the greatest tag team for their money?
I mean, they're definitely, one of my top four for sure. So, the argument could be made.
I mean, we've talked about this so many times in the past. We're not talking about in-ring quality, okay? We're talking about impact on the industry and influence, right?
Yeah, massive.
Yeah, so it has to be the Road Warriors, because they just changed.
Because nobody had a bigger impact on tag team wrestling than the Road Warriors.
They just changed the game the world over, like the whole world over. It's them,
right? They blazed the path that others walked on.
Right.
Yeah.
They chipped through the mountains. They carved the tunnels. Everybody else just walked through it, including the Steiners, including the Dudleys. Everybody else, and that was another thing. Some people were like, well, the Steiners did what the Road Warriors did. I'm like, well, the Road Warriors did it all on their own. They were doing all that stuff as free agents.
Yeah.
They had Paul, doing the negotiations for him, and he did all of that brilliantly. But to everybody else has seen that template that the Road Warriors made, and others have tried to do that. Mm-hmm. But when you were, because like when the Steiners went to New Japan, well, they were there as part of the WCW working agreement.
Right.
And the Road Warriors went to All Japan. They went there as the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
They had no giant company backing them up.
They had no affiliation whatsoever. They went out there on their own.
Those two guys.
But they beat the shit out of everybody out there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Road Warriors.
Right. But anyway,
we're not, again, I mean, yeah. What I was saying was, some people, I think they get hung up on this thing about the wrestling quality or something, and it's like that doesn't mean as much as people think it does. Like, it's the overall thing you got to look at. So,
right.
I'm sorry.
That's why Hogan is Hogan. It's the same shit. Hogan made the biggest impact. He couldn't wrestle dick, but he made the biggest impact.
But as far as the Steiners being in the kind of in the news this week for being snubbed by the idiots who are voting in.
How I feel about that.
So. I mean that Hall of Fame is officially completely. It's not even dead. It's ashes. That it's ashes on the ground. but it's raining and it's washing all of the ashes down into the sewers and out into the ocean where nobody gives a crap about it anymore because it means absolutely nothing now.
Okay, but has it ever? It's always been this wrestling fan's opinion and his readers' opinion on stuff. Has it ever really been a legit thing? Like it's just in people's.
They try to make it big. I remember when they tried to make a big deal out of it, but it never gotten big because it's exactly what you said.
See, I think that the fact that it wasn't the WWE Hall of Fame, I think that made people a lot of people more attracted into what they had to say because they do have a lot of they do have many good picks in there.
Yeah, no, I do agree. Yeah,
but no, Pedro, you're right. It's never it's only been good when comparing it to WWE.
I'm gonna be very blunt about this. It's a tiny microscopic niche of fans, hardcore wrestling fans.
Yeah, you're right, Pedro.
This tiny number of people saying like, "Oh, look at us! Look who we picked! Oh my God!" Oh. It's just it's a tiny number of people, though. Like the number of people participating in this is tiny in the bigger view of things, and it's not like they're really going through a big academic process. Like they're trying to put it off like this. These are the serious people voting on this, but there's not this big academic process that has gone into determining this thing. Because one, how can you make an academic process about fucking pro wrestling anyways? It's too I mean, no one even can come to consensus on what is important to like say grade what is the better pro wrestler over another. Is it this? Is it that? Is it a combination? And what combination of things? Blah, blah. No one can come to this consensus. So you can't even begin to have an academic process, much less with this tiny microscopic slice of wrestling nerds. Like you're not going to come to this. And now the audience, this niche is like now this AEW audience. So it's even like more obscure than it was in the past.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
I mean, look, in last year, you had Okada went into the Hall of Fame. Okay. Yeah. And he's still young into his career. The year before that, you had Kenny Omega go into this Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about him.
The year before that, I mean, just think about this. Sergeant Slaughter is not in this. Paul Orndorff is not in this. Big Daddy, I know people shit on him because he was a terrible in-ring performer, but he's like the Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, etc. of British wrestling. Okay,
right. Yeah.
He's huge for England.
But everybody that like
this guy is
everybody that grew up in Big Daddy's era, loved him.
Right.
Yeah.
He was just super over. He was the superhero. He was like the Hulk Hogan of like you said.
But the thing I'm saying is, so Sergeant Slaughter, Paul Orndorff, Big Daddy, etc., they're not in there. But you know who went in there in 2019? Gato. Gato is in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Think about that. Just think about that. Think about this.
Serious?
Yeah.
That's something.
I mean, the year before that, you had Yuji Nagata went in there. Is he like a Hall of Famer? Like over Sergeant Slaughter and these people? And
no. Sergeant Slaughter, his career, from the 70s through the 80s is a great career, but when you put that he was willing to do the traitor angle and literally he could have been killed by a crazy fan.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, he could have been. I mean, if it had been like in the age of like a Like if that had been like a Fox News story.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God!
God.
Can you imagine? They'd have
Wow. I mean, they would have personally been like, burning,
Zeus,
trying to slaughter GI
Zeus,
Joes, and
Zeus,
they'd be calling for people to. I mean, it would have been terrible.
give it time. Give it time. Look who the champion of the NWA is.
Oh my God,
Fuck that, Pedro.
there is no champion. The NWA World Title is dead as well.
Hey,
Fucking Tyrus. Wow.
you know who went in 2017?
Who?
AJ Styles is in this Hall of Fame.
Why would you even put somebody up for induction when they're not even retired?
Yeah.
I mean,
I was going to say Zeus. I'm sorry, Pedro. I was going to say Zeus to your point about Sergeant Slaughter as well. He made it work everywhere he went. NWA, he was World Tag Team Champions multiple times. Everybody knows everything he did in WWF. He was heavyweight champion there. Even in the AWA, it was GI Joe. That was usually over. So he made it work in fucking Memphis. So he made it work everywhere he went. He was over everywhere.
I mean, the examples can go on, but look, this is the last one I'm going to give. 2012. In 2012, John Cena went into this Hall of Fame. I'm not making this up.
Yeah, he'll be on SmackDown next week, by the way.
You know who went in 2 years before John Cena? I can't believe I have even more examples to give, but 2010, Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio Jr. both went into this Hall of Fame.
They also won't let in Junkyard Dog based off this school of thought because Junkyard Dog wasn't as good after Mid-South that he was always crap.
That's bullshit. Look at his WWF run.
But that's their justification for not putting Junkyard Dog in is because
his WWF run was huge in WWF.
Well,
what is he talking about? Oh
James,
my God.
Do y'all recall me telling y'all that as a child I was way into the Junkyard Dog because that fucking cartoon?
Yeah, everybody. He was he was everybody's favorite character on the cartoon.
Yeah, like you'd see him on the cartoon, you wanted to see him on TV.
Yeah, then. I don't get it. I don't get it. The JYD was the man back in the day.
I mean, you watch it now. Yes, he was terrible in the ring.
Hey,
what does it matter?
Hey, I barked at Madison Square Garden. Okay, I was doing the JYD part. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Come on. Me and a million other kids in the garden. You know? What's wrong with the season? That's what I said yesterday in our chat. I was like, the observer shit, that's dead to me. That's like, and who cares? Like, why? It's bullshit. Oh, I'm upset at that.
It's garbage. It's just like, I mean, there's problems, in a lot of Hall of Fames, and not having not having Ivan Koloff in the WWE Hall of Fame is ridiculous.
Yeah, he belongs in there.
I'm looking at that spreadsheet. Did y'all look at that spreadsheet that I told you all about?
No, I didn't. I think I glanced at it, but I didn't see it. Yeah,
it's got like the raw data of like the votes and the numbers and the percentages, blah blah blah. So like
I can't believe they said that about JYD.
Here's a trivia question for you.
Yes.
Who's the first inductee into the WCW Hall of Fame?
Oh shit.
Angelo Poffo.
Luthez.
WCW Hall of Fame. Who's the first inductee?
Ric Flair. I don't.
Nope.
No.
So it wasn't Luthez or
no.
Nope.
Well, have to be Ted Turner.
Oh,
I don't
Jim
know who.
Crockett.
huh?
Jim Crockett?
Nope. He's a wrestler.
Oh, okay.
That can't be Dusty Rhodes.
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up. Because I'm going to cheat.
You cheating bastard. See, everybody from Houston cheats.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Where's
Andre the Giant.
What?
Hey,
For real?
he made an appearance at that Clash of Champions just a very short time before he passed away.
I missed it, Zeus. Who was it?
Andre the Giant, Pedro.
Oh, okay.
That's like, what? I remember Andre the Giant more in NWA than in WCW.
He never wrestled for WCW.
Yeah, I was going to say. I was like, yeah.
I mean, he might have wrestled in Georgia when it was on, TBS, but
that's a stretch. I don't.
No. I definitely saw him. I definitely saw he was involved with those feuds with, Master Superstar and Mr. Wrestling 2. And,
yeah, I know he was in a feud with Killer Khan, but that wasn't NWA, was it?
No, that was there was a match. They had a match in Japan.
Right. Oh man, now I'm more confused.
Man, the years some of these people have been on ballots.
Well,
Sergeant Slaughter's been on this ballot for 19 years, and he's still not.
Yeah, he deserves to be in. Well, that's like the whole thing with the WWE Hall of Fame. They had Abdullah the Butcher. I don't remember him in the WWF ring. You know?
That would have been something.
Yeah, but Vince would have lost his shit.
What would he have done about his forehead or his head? Like,
he would have made him wear a mask.
Oh.
That's all. Yeah. He came off some ridiculous fucking gimmick, X from outer space or some shit like that, and that's it. Or the Blob, or
the Blob,
Flying Tit Man or somebody,
Flying Tit Man.
I'll do the Butcher look like he had wings under his tits,
Damn it.
That's a scary dude, man. But I heard so many nice things about him, though. It's weird.
Well, then you hear so many not nice things about him.
Yeah.
Like giving wrestlers hepatitis C and stuff.
Yeah, on purpose too. I heard. Yeah, that's not cool. And fucking intentionally too. That's fucked up.
Man, but as we said, I mean, there's so many examples of scumminess in.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we can go on and on about that. Yeah.
So looking over, I'm looking over this spreadsheet. I just want to ask you some thoughts on this. The Kawada and Tai is a tag team. Them and then Mystico, they got the most votes, or they got the highest percentage at 76%.
I'm sorry, but where did those two wrestle outside of All Japan and?
Yeah, I was going to say.
And no.
So Kawada had to do. So I've told you on the past. Baba would send the young boys out to territories in the U.S. or North America and stuff to get some time in, like some experience. Mm-hmm. And so Kawada was sent to Stampede Wrestling. So he did some time in Stampede, but otherwise, so it was Stampede. So it's All Japan, Stampede, All Japan, and then later he does he does Hustle, he does Noah a bit. And then 0-1 a bit, and then he retires. Tae, I don't know.
He was a 0-1?
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah. The Tae, I do not know. I don't know if he did an excursion like the others. But he was in Noah. He was part of the Noah thing. Like when they all the people left All Japan, he was part of that. So he left All Japan to do Noah. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, again, they're basing this mostly on what they did in All Japan, and I feel they're basing it on the quality of the matches, right? They're basing it on that stuff. And what we're saying is that is not as important as other factors, right? Like you need to kind of look at the overall thing. Like how many people are really?
Well, if you notice who they're putting in, and like who they left out. If you notice all the names that you said, Pedro, they're better match technicians than the ones that they left out.
No, they're not. They're not.
No.
Well,
Okay,
no,
look,
yeah. I mean,
look.
everybody he said. He said Jericho.
No.
He said Okada. He said AJ Styles. He said they're better than Sergeant Slaughter got left out. They're
Really?
better than a lot of people.
Look. Okay, like.
So I agree with what you said before because there's no criteria to this, you know.
Okay, so like I love Kawada. Okay,
Right.
I think he was amazing. He's one of my absolute favorite wrestlers ever. Kawada did not do a ton of moves, to be honest with you.
No,
like,
he's not. I agree with you there. Right.
The deal with him.
I still can't believe he was in 0-1. I don't remember any of that.
Is late, Jay. I mean, it's a tiny run, but like Kawada, his deal is like the psychology, right? His selling, it's kind of the in-ring narrative he would put together, and the stiffness and the drama he could create in matches. Like that's the stuff I really love about him. But like he doesn't have like a lot of moves. He kicks you a lot. He kicks you a lot. He drops you on your head.
It kicks the shit out of you, actually. Yeah.
Right? So he's not really a mat technician. Like people put him up like this incredible worker, but he's a good worker not because of like actual wrestling, right?
Right.
He's not really doing wrestling.
Right.
You're saying AJ Styles is a better mat technician than Sergeant.
I was just saying that the way not that I think that it is, but I'm just saying that the way they're choosing people seems to be like that. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand. You don't mean you think that
right.
Better than Sergeant Slaughter. You're just saying that that's the perception.
Yeah.
That's the perception that this Hall of Fame is giving me right now. You know, how come you're picking him? Where I totally agree with you saying, Pedro. It's not about in-ring stuff. It's about overall penetration. A lot of the Road Warriors. Hence why they'll always be better than the Steiners.
Well, this one, Zeus, you were trying to allude to this when you were saying what have they done as a tag team, right? Like outside of All Japan, right?
Yeah.
So, like as a tag team, do you see tag teams literally influenced by the Holy Demon Army? Like I've never seen this. I've never seen a tag team that I went, they're referencing the Holy Demon Army.
Right.
You don't see that.
No.
Because people love their matches. Like nerds, like us hardcore wrestling geeks, we love their matches. Like, but they're not people who you don't see like all these wrestlers like we're doing the Holy Demon Army. Like they don't really have like a look. It's just Kawada and Taue both in their specific looks. They don't have this tag team look, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely, because Taue is just a big
dude,
kind of heavy, lanky. He had more of a giant type of look than a big man look.
He's someone who I know I'm cutting out. I know I'm cutting out. Taue is someone I didn't appreciate the first go around so much. Like when I was first
me neither. I'm not gonna lie and say I did
getting into the tapes and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate him so much. I appreciate him more now. Like I can see what he contributed more now when I rewatch those matches. But back then I was just like, oh, to what Zeus was saying, he looks like just like some, sloppy slob guy. He looks like some sloppy dude. Like,
He's like a mini version of Giant Baba.
Oh yeah, except
yeah, okay.
You're talking later Giant Baba,
just aesthetically, and
older Giant Baba, yes.
Clubbing forearms, yeah.
If you, younger Giant Baba is fairly fit dude.
Yeah.
So, but older Giant Baba, is this immobile guy. But Well, anyways, so say a tag team that didn't make it that's on here: Argentina Roca and Miguel Perez.
I honestly don't remember them being a tag team that much. I remember, reading about their single success, but
Argentina Rocket was more of a single success. I totally agree with you there, Sus. Yeah.
I mean, they nearly got in. They had 57%.
As a tag team?
Yeah. Wow. Don't you have to have like 60% to get in or something like that?
No. I don't know their criteria.
And Sergeant Slaughter, similarly, he only got to 57%.
It's ridiculous.
Sergeant Slaughter should be in everyone's Hall of Fame.
Oh, James, you mentioned the Junkyard Dog. Yeah. He only had 38%.
That's sacrilege. Look at that.
And now, here's the thing. Los Villanos, they got in at 63%. And like, how many of these voters actually have watched their body of work?
I mean, I'm sure most of them never watched any of it. If they did, it was some of their stuff from WCW.
I was just about to say that.
That's not a great reflection of.
Nope, it's not. It's not. Career. But I was just about to say that. I was thinking the same thing, Zeus. Yep.
Okay, so film me, player. Here, listen to this. Dig this. So
was that Teddy Long?
It's a mix. It's a mashup of numbers. It's Teddy Long, a little Booker T. Just throw it all.
Oh, okay.
Los Villanos. If you know their matches from Mexico, okay, like if you know their best stuff, right? Then you're also probably going to be pretty familiar with the Dinamitas, the Cien Caras, Máscara Año 2000, Universal 2000. You're going to be familiar with these guys, right?
Right.
Now, how is it that Villanos get in ahead of the Dinamitas, who were like so much more massive stars? Whoa. So much more massive stars in Mexico. So much bigger things that more people are more likely to have seen than the Villanos prime stuff. And so you go to this question: is it just the Villanos in just because they were jobbers in WCW, and these other guys weren't?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you there.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul Orndorff, he only got 50%. He got less than the Dinamitas. Think about this. Paul Orndorff had less than the Dinamitas, and this audience should know him better than they do.
I mean, I gotta look it up, but I know it was a massive crowd for the Paul Orndorff Hulk Hogan match in Toronto.
Is that the one where Orndorff got stiff on Hogan? Which is that match? Shit, I can't remember that match. I don't know. I think it might be the same match you're talking about, Zeus.
Yeah, it was a huge.
Well, Orndorff kept giving Hogan the stiff shots to the back of the neck, and Hogan got pissed.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that was that match or not.
James, so Junkyard Dog only had 38%. You know who had more than Junkyard Dog?
Who?
Ted Turner.
You're fucking killing me, Pedro.
41%. You know who else had more than him? CM Punk.
Oh Lord, please. He just proved to the world. He just proved to the world that a narcissistic personality, ego-driven fucking asshole doesn't belong in wrestling anymore. Because you would think he would mature and grow up and to get back to the business. Instead, he made it all about him again, and now he finds himself out of a job again.
Well, James, I'll say this. If we found ourselves in AEW, we likely would turn into insane assholes. Or go
probably
as well.
Probably, but his body's record don't speak well.
So Hogan versus Paul Orndorff, memorable outdoor match in Toronto called the Big Event.
Yeah,
an estimated 76,000 fans.
Wow.
And then they had the steel cage match on Saturday night's main event. And then that was the thing where Danny Davis declared Orndorff the winner.
I remember that. Good job.
Yeah, you remember that? And then they did the instant replay thing. And I think wasn't Bob Costas doing? Yep. I believe he was doing the instant replay.
I remember that. Yeah, good job, Zeus. Yeah.
So.
Oh man, y'all want to get upset about something?
Sure.
Why not?
That's what we do. We yell at clouds. Men.
Yeah.
The Steiners. So the Steiners have been on the ballot for 6 years. So it's taken this thing's been around since like 93 or something like that. And it's taken them this long to get the Steiners on the ballot. So just in the past 6 years, and they're still not in. Now, Jack and Jerry Briscoe, this is their first year on the ballot. And they don't get in, of course. But think about that. Think of the career the Briscoes had as a tag team. Like, forget the individual things like Jack on his own.
Yeah.
So,
as a tag team,
a tag team.
Yeah.
All the tag team titles
they
won tag team titles all over Georgia, all over Florida.
Yep.
Carolinas, of course.
And this is just the first year that they're on the ballot. Meanwhile, Tomohiro Ishii's on his 4th year on the ballot.
Man, I love the guy, and he was great, in his time. But Jesus Christ, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think they missed the boat on that.
Holy shit! Hey, look at this. This is also the first year for the British Bulldogs to be on the ballot. It's also the first year for the Von Erichs as a team to be on the ballot.
That's another fucking travesty.
It's the first year for Roman Reigns to be on the ballot. I mean, that's too young. Hey, here's a tag team we've talked about a lot in the past year or so. It's the first year for Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood to be on the ballot.
They were a good tag team. I like them.
5-time NWA World Tag Team.
There you go, big man.
Jesus Christ.
There you go.
Now they're finally on the ballot, huh?
Well,
finally on the ballot. But these guys, they put Naito and this year.
The Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, it's their first year on the ballot.
I think they should just go ahead and put Yoshihashi in. Next year, just don't even put it up for a vote. Just put him in there because
why not?
Holy shit,
he's done so much for wrestling.
Hey, amigos, I can't even believe I'm going to read these to y'all. Y'all are not going to believe this. This is the 6th year that this team has been on this ballot, and they're still not in. The 6th year, okay? So they've been on this ballot 6 years for 6 years, and they're still not in. They only got 31% of the vote. You're not going to believe this. I can't believe they're not in already as a tag team. Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson.
That's just highway robbery. This makes no sense to me. I mean, you want to talk about, you want to talk about changing the game. I mean, I can't.
Well, James, what about this? This is the first year for this semi-well-known tag team Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart, the Hart
Oh
Foundation,
my God.
to be on the ballot.
Yeah, like they never did anything.
Why
Who
on
are
earth?
they?
Oh my God. This thing gets weirder. So it's the first year for the Rockers to be on the ballot as a tag team. The first year for let's see, Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee as a tag team. The first year for Antonio Inoki and Seiji Sakaguchi as a tag team. First year for Ricky Chozu and Animo Hamaguchi as a tag team. First year for Mr. Wrestling 1 and 2 as a tag team.
Well, if you're gonna go by this, then where's Evil and Sonata on this list? You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Really? Wait a minute. You said Choshu and
Hamagachi, Animo Hamagachi.
Anno Hamaguchi?
Yeah. It's also the first year for the New Age Outlaws. But guess who's on their 6th year and still not in?
Who?
Trish Stratus. I'm not saying she should be in. I'm saying this. She's been on the ballot for 6 years, and these tag teams this is just their first year on the ballot. Blackjack Mulligan. We were talking about Barry Windham. This is 7th year, only his 7th year on the ballot, and he had negative 10% of. How do you get negative 10% on the voting?
My God.
See, this is why I can't take the Wrestling Observer seriously. I can't. I just can't.
And look, Naito and Ibushi, who both got in, both of them. That was their 6th year on the ballot.
I know it's all subjective, but I mean, it goes to your point, Pedro. You have to have some type of criteria. I mean, something. You know?
I'm not saying. I don't know how you do an academic process with this, James. Like some things, you have to understand. I say this phrase all the time. I'm a dinosaur fading, and what I mean is, I was trained in an old thing that is now outdated, right? So the academic process that I was trained in is no longer like in use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like my mode of thought is like outdated now. So like say
but even so, Pedro, you still have to have that process. It doesn't matter if your process is outdated and your way of thinking. You got to convince me. How does the Blackjacks get negative 10 and on and Tully are not in? But you could put A, B, and C in. To me, that doesn't. Show me the process. So I want to see the criteria.
So James, as an example of what I'm saying is like, so in art, so when I was in school, right, the way we're taught about art, there were a number of things that we're told this is not outside of the criteria of what would make something like fine art, like make it legit art. Okay. Like there's always a difference between something being artifact and being art. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now fast forward like 2 decades or however many decades, right? I guess it's more than that now. Shit, I'm getting old. Some of the stuff that they said wasn't art is now like whole genres of art.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole thing now about branding and just making a studio and having just people make your shit, like mass produce your shit. Like this would not have been accepted one point in time, but now
I totally get it.
Everything is just different now. Everything, because money is a big thing in everything. Money changes everything. But yeah, so I can't say about people may bring up, the academic process is not the same now because the standards are thrown out the window now. You don't have the standards anymore.
Absolutely.
But how do you apply this to wrestling is what I was saying earlier. Like, how do you come to some consensus? Like, what is the standards you're going to say? Well, this is what makes a good wrestler. Well, what makes a good wrestler? I don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what we like, right? We know what we like. And once upon a time, I've bitched about this in the past. The Steamboat Flair matches from '89. Okay, once upon a time, most wrestling fans generally accepted these were like pretty much the best like kind of wrestling matches from that you could get. So you could kind of judge things, did it meet that standard or not, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But now now we're in a place in time where people are like, oh, those matches aren't so great.
Right.
You have people going like, oh, they don't do this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Okada.
Now everybody's judging their matches against Shibata versus Orange Cassidy.
Or Okada Omega,
Yeah.
Like,
There we go. Are we going to start this again, Pedro?
What? Start what again?
Between me and Zeus got the Barry Windham thing, and then you and I have the Okada fucking the Okada idiot thing.
What's the thing we have that they're not 5-star matches? Yes.
No, the match from Wrestle Kingdom, where I think he was, I think Kenny Omega, yes, he was doing his bullshit then, but to me, maybe because it was who he was with in the ring, it was better than he's doing today. You said it was the same exact thing.
It is the same. Like when I rewatched it, when was it, in 2020? When I rewatched it again in 2020, I was struck by stuff I didn't notice when I saw it the previous times, right?
Right.
And I was like, he's doing all the goofy bullshit he does now in this match. He literally is. You have to
rewatch the match. Yeah.
Like if you go back and rewatch it, you will see how many times him and the Young Bucks, because the Young Bucks are at ringside, how many times the three of them are just stopping everything to celebrate them fucking selves in this fucking match. There are so many spots in that match where they stop everything to just kind of go to the camera like, look at what we're doing in the Tokyo Dome. And you're just like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Yeah, they're marking out for themselves.
Yeah. No, I totally get it, Pedro. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I got to go back and rewatch it. Now, in the meantime, back to the subject at hand. Barry Windham. Mr. Barry Windham. Mr. Road Warrior Scholar, if you would be kind enough to indulge me. You have proclaimed that Barry Windham was better with the Horsemen than he was a face. You said you preferred him with the Horsemen.
If I said he's better, then I probably misspoke.
Okay.
I liked him as a heel.
Okay.
And because of the way it came about, I mean, he was a great baby face. And I mean, an 8-9-year run as a baby face, is that is pretty rare even then.
No, I totally agree. That's too long, actually. That's too long.
But I mean,
I always thought he was the better dance partner against Flair than with him. Because I understand, and you know what, I get it. You had the emergence of Sting, so Barry had to get out the way a little bit. I get that.
But also Barry didn't want to be there. He didn't love the idea of being world champion like a lot of people did.
Right. I get that. How many times he passed up the belt? What, twice, right?
Yeah, at least twice.
Right. But I always thought, because him and Flair there were such great dance partners in the ring against each other, why would you put them on the same side? That was my thing. Why is he a Horseman where the better match is always going to be Flair versus Windham than Flair tag teaming with Windham? Well,
I mean, that's the problem, though, is when you have guys like Luger and Sting were coming up, and they were nowhere near in ring as good as guys like Flair and Windham.
Right.
So you needed those guys to be on the other side of the ring of that new generation, because they needed help. They needed help getting better. And Sting obviously, was the biggest recipient of that.
Mm-hmm.
Luger didn't change a whole lot. In his earliest years, I don't think. But
I can appreciate. I can appreciate. You know, I understand what you're saying, and Luka didn't change much at all. You're absolutely right, and yes, 100%. Sting was, but he was the greatest benefit of all time. I mean, he was the greatest beneficiary from that. And you know, I get it. You know, you got to have Barry on the other side. You know,
yeah, by
make it work.
88 now, I will say this. I
Okay.
really wish that I think that everything could have gone better in 87 if Barry had been the one to beat Flair instead of Ronnie Garvin. Ronnie Garvin's super over,
Yes,
right? And the thing was too is like, see, now Ronnie Garvin, he was always, because you could put Ronnie Garvin in any in any title race,
Yeah.
and he becomes a legitimate threat to anybody's title.
I know he was over, but I was never a fan. But yeah, he was over.
But he was over. He was.
Yeah,
he was
he
super
was.
over. And
Yeah, hands of
people
stone.
went ballistic when he did his shit, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. And so so Ronnie Garvin, and Barry Windham were a great tag team together too.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So,
Yeah.
you had this parallel, and because whenever somebody wasn't around, like if I kind of felt like this watching TBS. Like if there was no big baby face in town, whoever Flair was feuding with at the time, Ronnie Garvin could step in and remind everybody. It's like, look, I'm one punch away
Absolutely.
from being the world champion, and Ric
Absolutely.
Flair's going to have to pull out every dirty trick in the book and cheat like crazy
Yeah.
to keep that belt from me.
Absolutely. No, you're 100% correct. Yeah. You could have easily plugged him in anytime. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Right. But the same holds true. Like you could have punched him in. He could have been chasing the U.S. title from Tully Blanchard, or the national title from Buddy Landell, or whatever you wanted to do with him. You could have done with him at that point, 86, 87, that you wanted to, because.
But I like your theory how if Flair loses to Wyndham, that changes the whole dynamic with Ronnie Garvin right there. You could have kept. That would have been interesting to see Flair versus. I mean, that would have been interesting. Then you could have did Wyndham versus Garvin.
Well, Ronnie had been a face for so long in and around Crockett.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could have been there, but I feel like they were really, sold on, Flair just being champion the vast majority of the time.
Right.
And like Barry might have had it for a month.
What the hell was that? Bad Heidi?
I think that's James's. And that's Pedro's dad alert.
Okay.
But I think that because of the way that they built up the Flair and Wyndham feud, because they had all those great matches that were like 60 and 90-minute time limit draws, I think that would have made more sense for Wyndham to finally go over, even if it is for just a short time. Like I said, like a month or whatever, because I don't think that, I think the whole reason that Ronnie Garvin held on to that belt for 90 days is because he just said, look, I'm just not coming back.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna make me drop this, if I come back, and I'm not being a 1 week champion like all these
Tommy
other
Rich.
people have been.
Yeah.
And with the that era of where a lot of the territories were just pooping out. It just kind of sucks that how kind of everything went in 87 and 88.
I agree.
Um,
That makes absolute sense. It does, yeah. And you're right. It would have been a shame too because they could have found a way, even maybe to work Nikita into that angle. No,
I don't think the NWA
no,
board
right.
or Crockett, I don't think anybody was going to give. I mean, if Nikita had won it, Nikita he would have won it, and then a week later, the Horsemen jump him, and
Yeah,
he would have
yeah.
lost it right back.
True, true.
I mean, at least
Well,
Dusty
he
had
didn't
it.
have to win it. He didn't have to win it, but just put him in there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, he was in there for so long, and
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
85, 86 era.
Hmm.
But I mean, if Nikita had won it as a face, that would have been pretty interesting as well, because I think it would have just been one of those short runs. Like I said, a week or two,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Okay.
especially if it had been during like the Great American Bashes.
Yeah.
If that had been like just say, for instance, just say that had been Nikita that won the belt in Greensboro over Flair instead of Dusty.
Right, right.
I think that would have, you know, I think that would have put a lot of cachet on Nikita's career. And even though he went through a lot of struggles, like with his wife and her cancer, leading to her, leaving this world, way too early.
Hmm.
That there's a lot of, sadly, there's so much that we have heard from other people in the business or whatever, but I don't think, I mean, looking back, I think that people still would have had that excitement, and if you hadn't tried to, you know, I don't know what you want to say. I don't think if you'd have, made Nikita wear it as welcome too long as champion.
I got you. I got you. Yeah.
Because
I understand what you're saying.
chasing Flair was like the national pastime,
Right,
you
right.
know. So
Well, chasing Flair was actually bigger than the match itself. That was the thing. Everybody wanted to chase Flair. That
well,
was
yeah,
the bigger,
you prove that you were worthy,
right, and that was the bigger angle than winning it actually. Yeah, because you drew money with that angle.
right?
Yeah,
And
because
you weren't necessarily, and the most, no matter who you were, the odds were hugely against you that you were
right,
winning
right, right.
because they were so selective.
Well,
And until the NWA board was, pretty much dissolved, and Crockett, had complete control of everything.
yeah.
That time from from late
Let
'86
me
or
ask you a
whatever it was
question.
until he sold it in '89 or whatever.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, Zeus. What year did they put remember when they gave Hawk that run?
Right. Yeah, that was during that, like, that 85, 86 time.
85, 86? Okay, yeah, because he was chasing
I
Flair. I was
think
like, okay, what the hell?
maybe it was 86, 87.
Okay. That was before Ricky or after? That was before Ricky Morton. I mean, yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before, I'm not sure what you're asking me.
No, no, but was the Hawk run against Flair, was that before Ricky Morton's run?
Let's see. Um,
Ooh.
so like the Great American Bash '87. That was the Road Warriors and Dusty and Nikita War Games against the Horsemen. I want to say it was like probably like '86.
Hello?
You.
I'm sorry, I did that for a second, so I missed anything you said because my internet went chop chop.
No,
Pedro style.
87 was the Warriors and the Superpowers and the Road Warriors against the Four Horsemen at the Bash.
Okay, gotcha.
And
okay.
so I think it was 86 when Hawk was kind of chasing Hawk and Animal kind of got shots, but a lot of people thought that that Hawk was the better the one that had the more kind of the attitude and the kind of moves that it would take to beat Flair, because Animal was just so big and strong. He just wasn't as mobile as
Flair.
Yeah. But
Hey, Pedro, you're kind of quiet over there.
I think he's muted.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, there's probably some of his pops.
Yeah. But
okay. Yeah, because I didn't mind the Hawk run. I wasn't a fan of the Ricky Morton run. It was like, he's chasing the belt now. I mean, I understand everybody wants to chase Flair because that's where you make your money. But I'm like, really? I mean, he was so over at that time. He was like ridiculously hot.
Right. See, I think that might have been during 86 as well, because you remember, the run where the Midnight Express, Bobby and Dennis had the World Tag Team titles. The Road Warriors were after the Midnights. And I think that might have been where they plugged in Ricky into the feud with
Flair.
With Flair, yeah.
Gotcha. Because I was getting the dates confused. I said, wait a minute. I couldn't remember. I was like, wait a minute. It had to be something. There was something that was happening. But that makes sense with the whole thing with the feud with the Midnights. I remember that. Yeah. Yep. I remember that. Good job. I remember that. My goddamn, sometimes it's kicking in, boy. Let me tell you. I try to remember. I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't remember the dates this morning. I was like, when did Hawk? I knew he made a run. Like, oh my god, I couldn't remember it.
Yeah. And 87 was Starrcade 87 was the Road Warriors against Tully and Arn in Chicago.
Right. That I remember.
And they won the match, but they didn't get the titles on reverse decision.
Right. Yeah. I had to go back to some of these matches, man. Oh, yeah. There's some good stuff in there.
Like I said, that match with Barry Windham versus Bobby Fulton wasn't bad.
No.
But it was kind of a setup for it was leading up to Starrcade 88, because Bam Bam Bigelow comes in at the end of the match, and gets Bobby Fulton disqualified because he's attacking Barry Windham.
Speaking of Barry Windham, whatever happened to Kendall Windham? He was brutal.
Yeah, he was so thin. It took him a long time. Plus, that he had the legal troubles and things. So.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Right.
But
right.
He did get to win the WCW Tag Team title with his brother. So
he did. Yeah.
That's not the worst thing in the world.
No.
I remember.
Who they beat?
We're talking about Dustin. Is Kendall and Dustin kind of broke in together,
right?
And they were like a tag team in Florida, in '88, and then Kendall turned on Dustin, and then that's when they kind of both came to WCW, because it was PWF was called PWF at that point, and then they closed up shop, and then like I said, Kendall and Dustin came to WCW, and of course Dustin was just he was just phenomenal, And I mean,
he was so good. The Natural. Yeah.
And he got to train with guys like Steamboat and Barry and all the people that were there. I mean, he and getting to cut his teeth against a younger Steve Austin, and it was really great to see him kind of blossom back then. And it's sad I had to watch him in a match with Tom Zink, but hey.
I don't know how you sat through that, Zeus. I really don't.
Well, we were giving Tom Zink shit the whole time, so
that's good. Yeah.
This one guy in front of me, he's like, you suck. He's like, you're a zero. He's like, you're a zero, man. And Zink, and it was a 6-man match, and Matt Bourne, Big Josh was in the ring. Yeah. And so Dustin and Zink are on the apron, and Tom Zink can't handle it, and he pokes Dustin. He's like, you see that guy out there? He's like, after the match is done, we're gonna kick his ass. And Dustin's looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he just kind of shook his head and rolled his eyes. It's like wow. It's like, Zink, who had all this experience and been in the business longer. It's like, but that's something that Greensboro's famous for is booing the shit out of the good guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly, it's like the rest of the state. It's a battleground state. I mean, people love people. It's everybody was polarizing.
Yeah.
You loved them or you hated them, and and people hated Tom Zink, deservedly so.
Yeah,
because he was so super mid, and if he'd worked on his wrestling.
Remember when he came back in WCW? Oh man, he got laughed out. What, like a match? Like what? Like 2 matches, 3 matches? He's the last, if that. Oh man, that was horrible.
And that's the crazy thing too. Is like they had they could have put him and Rick Martel back together.
Yeah, that's what they had Martel. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But once again, the stupid rumors that we've heard is, I've heard some people say that in WWF the reason that the Can-Am Connection broke up is because like Rick Martel was finagling for more money, and was kind of like, hey, look, the only reason this tag team is doing well is because of me. Zink is dime a dozen. We can find somebody else to put in it. If you want me to tag team, you can put somebody else with me.
Yeah.
And we're going to we'll do just fine. You put somebody else with Zero Man there, and it's, they better be damn good. And which is pretty true because, they put Rick Martel with Tito Santana and they became Strike Force.
Strike Force. I remember that. Yeah. Well, Tito Santana was good with everybody. He was so good. Yeah.
He
was good.
Yeah, he was. Phenomenal guy. Seems like, by all accounts, he's a really nice guy, and he just doesn't, apparently just doesn't even care, about all of those days so much anymore. The fact where he's, he doesn't really do conventions or shows.
No. His body's held up too, right? Because he's not broken down like a lot of the other people, right?
Right.
Yeah. He was a good guy. Yeah, he was a good worker. I remember him and, oh my God, I remember Santana and Valentine having battles. Him and Morocco, Jesus, that was brutal. Oh, brutal.
Brutal. Tito Santana, it's amazing how, he could have been, I think he would have been great anywhere because he just, he knew how to connect with fans. He knew how to cut a great promo and get people fired up. And, he was probably one of those guys that, he kind of, as Vince changed the WWF, I think it hurt him more. And they put him in a stupid Matador outfit. God bless him. He's another one of those guys. He took that crap. He took that stupid, corny look, and he owned it.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I mean,
He did.
that's sometimes sometimes you can do that. Sometimes you can't do that as a wrestler.
Didn't he have a cup of coffee in Georgia? Some shit I remember with him and Larry Sabisco or something. I don't know, something like that.
Probably. I mean, he was pretty well traveled. That's a lot of thing that people don't realize is, a lot of these people traveled. Where people just kind of assume it. It's like, well, because you were in WCW or NWA in 1986, that you were still there in 1988.
Right.
Or 1989 or whatever. But like, the Fantastics left and came back to WCW during the late 80s there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and I swear to God, that's a huge problem with today's wrestling is there's not enough transients.
Yeah.
There's not enough guys that want to be vagabonds and just go wherever they can go and be hot and make a big splash and make a lot of money.
Agree. I totally agree. I remember Tito Santana showed up on Nitro. I was like, oh shit, he said he's on Nitro. I think he had a one-off. Jeff Jarrett maybe or some shit like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, might have.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Zeus. I think you're absolutely right. There isn't enough transients these days in wrestling. I mean, especially if you're single and if you don't have a family yet, or if you're not married, I'll be traveling all over the place to every promotion. It's just like.
I mean, that's the idea, right? That's the ideal situation.
Right, and then you get married, you get a family, and you sign with WWE.
Right, but not everybody's programmed like that. Like the Freebirds, if they got tired of your bullshit, they'd leave.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did they last in WWE? What, like 5 minutes?
Do what?
How long did the Freebirds last in the WWF? What, 5 minutes?
Yeah, about 5, but long enough to get filmed for that for the Highlander movie.
There you go.
How crazy is that shit?
I remember Vince said, "Oh, they were going to break you up." So they were like, "We're out. See ya."
When they had their time in in Japan, in Georgia, and, of course Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just legendary.
Yeah, well, that's all that stuff that I'll go back to that world class stuff with the Von Harris and them and Flair and everything. That's all fantastic stuff, man. That stuff that's never be repeated again because it was so natural. It was so organic, You don't have this. I don't think you have the type of people today as you did then. You're because of their traveling experience, It was so traveled and road weary, They knew a good thing and they knew how to work the angle and like milk the storyline.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything. The only thing that's constant about wrestling is change.
That is true.
That
is true. Although I got to give credit to somebody who either Triple H has said, okay, I'm going to let you go, or you go do your thing, or they find or the talent himself finally woke up. Austin Theory. Remember the whole shit? As soon as he got called up, the whole shit with Vince McMahon's boy and blah, blah, blah. And he was getting this ridiculous, like, stupendous push out of nowhere. And then after Vince got fired, fucking Austin Theory was no poof. He disappeared. No more. He was jobbing to the stars, he was losing 2-minute matches, jobbing everybody. Then he seemed to come back and, different attitude, different style, different. And I'm like, okay, so the Triple H took the gloves off him, or he's giving him like a legit shot. And he's working the storyline, and you're like, he's actually working the story from week to week. I'm like, okay, he's learning, he's getting it, so it's good for him,
Yeah, but like, I mean, and the place where they've had some transients has been, AEW, but
yeah,
but it's more like just kind of a.
yeah. But those are more like working agreements, aren't they? Like like
No, but like, I mean, how, like Jeff Cobb went in for one match.
right. Gotcha.
So, and I mean, and there's been various, like some of those, people from early on, especially like some of those, those girls from Japan.
Yeah.
You only saw once or twice, but another thing that's messed up things now is of course the pandemic.
Yeah, that killed everything. Mm-hmm.
That really, it put people out of the arenas and put them,
I think that affected New Japan the most.
Yeah, but they're
talent because I remember too, like a lot of their talent pool came from overseas, from the UK, from Britain, from the States, from Mexico, and as soon as the pandemic hit, remember that first tag league after that pandemic hit? It was brutal. There was nobody in it.
Yeah.
There was nobody in it. It was like, shit, what happened? Even the G1, we were like, damn, this is kind of light,
Well, the thing is that the pandemic was worse in Japan than it was in America.
Yeah, that is true.
And it's a huge problem because of the Japan is one of the oldest countries in the world, and elderly people have issues, and like Luch has told us, there's a lot of problems getting older people to get vaccinated.
Right.
So, it's it did affect them a lot. And because if you think about it, though, they were still able to, hey,
Pedro, you good?
Hey,
welcome back.
oh, yeah, I'm fine. Look, Angie's here.
Hey,
Angie, what's going on, Angie? We were talking about your boyfriend all morning.
Hey, I heard y'all talking a little bit. I heard a little bit of y'all talking about Tito Santana, and I just want to remind everyone. Just want to remind everyone, when it was still Eastern Championship Wrestling, he actually held the ECW title.
Yes, he did.
As did Jimmy Snuka, Don Morocco.
Yeah.
Oh,
Angie, what's going on?
Whoa.
Oh, sorry about that. That's my answer. Thing has been acting up. Goddamn Spectrum sucks balls.
I'm sorry. What were y'all talking about when I interrupted? I apologize.
Oh,
we were talking about it, like there was, there's not enough transient wrestlers.
Yeah.
We do need more homeless hobo wrestlers. Yes.
Yes, we need guys come in, make a big deal, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wrestling, the beautiful thing of the territory days was people did their little stint, they moved on to another one, and when they came back around, people were excited to see them again, right?
Right.
That's how wrestling should work in a way. Everyone should be doing like kind of little cycles and stuff in the different places.
But there was the whole like the late 90s and the early 2000s, you had that thing where you were kind of, people were kind of stuck, and it's like,
Yeah.
Everybody, like people were scared to take time off. They were scared to lose their spot. It's like going, well, that's an interior. That's a culture that's in your locker room, and you need to get the fuck out of it.
Yeah, and she's
A
on
lot
the
of
mend.
people
He's
need.
on the mend, Jan. She's on the mend, so don't worry. He'll be okay.
Yeah, people
That-
people need to take time for themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
it. We mentioned Ricky Steamboat already, and he's probably the guy who nobody he was famous for. Hey, look, I've had enough of this crap. I need to go home and spend time with my family.
Yeah.
And he could walk away from wrestling for 6 months or a year and then come back. And just like you said, people be excited to see him again because they always were. Anytime, Ricky Steamboat came back, it was a giant fucking deal.
Is it bad that Steamboat's better than half the AEW roster? I'm just saying.
What I've heard
You mean
talk that
2022, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
there's been talk about him doing like a match in AEW in the future.
Yeah, I've heard whispers of that too, and I'm like, what? No.
That
He
that
just
man
had his
does not need to
retirement
do-
match in Raleigh.
He doesn't need to do any more. He's done
No,
enough
he
stuff.
doesn't.
He's had enough surprisingly decent returns, like when he shouldn't have been able to, right? Like because
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right.
I mean, because his back is all fucked up, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like the thing he did with Jericho and stuff around that one WrestleMania and things like that. We should have never even gotten that, and we got that. Like that should have just made everyone happy and be like, okay, that's that was fine.
Yeah, but Pedro, haven't you heard? Actually, apparently, it's very hard for aging wrestlers to stay away from in-ring.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, do I need to tell you? I mean, it's the Nature Boy, or what? Like, how old is he? What, 116? I mean, he's in the fucking ring. Let's not talk about cock and balls. Ninja wrestler. I mean, what?
If
how
Terry
many times do we see him?
If Terry Funk could be in the ring, he would be in the ring.
Do we really need to see Ricky?
Hey, if you
do we really need to see Ricky Morton do another Super Destroyer? No.
Go over the border down Mexico way. Over the border down Mexico way.
I mean, the only person that I'm okay with being in the ring at this age, and don't ask me why, and you can call me a hypocrite. I don't care. But the only person that I'm okay with is George South. That's it.
Well, but I was gonna say Mexico. There's so many guys with broken down bodies still just.
Yeah.
I mean, who was it that lost their mask to Penta recently? One of the
Villano.
Villano 4.
Yeah.
People were praising this match. Did you guys watch any of this match?
I didn't see any of it.
I saw a little bit. It looked really, really, really bad.
Villano could not do shit. He could not walk. He could not bump. Everything had to be like Penta had to throw himself through tables, throw himself through this, throw himself through that, because Villano couldn't do anything. And people were like, oh, this was incredible. And I was like, y'all are just...
Thank you, Angie.
Hello.
Sorry.
What'd she say?
I'm sorry.
What'd she say? I don't see it.
Because I asked Angie for her favorite Barry Windham moment. And she said the great heel turn when he joined the Horsemen, the crowd reaction was incredible. Exactly. And why was the crowd reaction incredible, Angie? Because he beat the shit out of Luger. Yes.
Yeah, I think you missed that too when Pedro, when we brought that up.
Yeah.
Like I said, Wyndham made the tag. He popped Luger, brought him in the ring.
I heard you.
He held him up by his chin with his left hand.
Yeah, I remember.
And then,
I remember all that. Yeah, I remember it, and then I was here when y'all were talking about it. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. That was
That's when they
awesome.
literally wrestled themselves. Yes, Angie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Penta and yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. That was one of my favorite moments.
Yeah,
That was
I
great.
mean, there's so many, great moments from Barry Windham's career. Um,
I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
I really want to
Any
watch.
opportunity to lay Luger out is a bonus points for me.
I really want to
So
watch a lot of those. What do you call it? Those Flair matches, like again.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
so many of them. You kind of want to like watch as many as you can and be like, "What's the best one?" Like,
Yeah, I know, right?
or
Yeah,
what's my favorite one? Like trying to figure out
well,
which one.
I'll tell you like this. Everybody says Steamboat was Flair's greatest rival. Okay, maybe, but I think Wyndham was his greatest dance partner because they had amazing. I mean, I know him and Steamboat had amazing chemistry, but Flair and Wyndham looked like fucking perfect dance partners in that ring. They were amazing together.
I mean,
Amazing.
it's. I don't think there is a like better than and this sort of thing. The
Right,
matches
right.
kind of speak for themselves. The Flair Steamboat matches speak for themselves. The Flair Wyndham matches speak for themselves. They're
As do the
about
Flair
the
Sting
same.
matches, yeah.
They're all in the same area. I won't say the Flair Sting matches are right there with those set of matches, but the moments are yes, not the.
You don't think the first one from Clash of Champion was good?
I love that's one of my favorite matches, but can I say I honestly think it's as good as the Flair Steamboat matches or the Flair Wyndham matches? Is it right? It's just to me, it's just short. It's just
Gotcha.
short. It's
Yeah.
quite.
Barry could put anyone over. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Couldn't get his brother over. I'll tell you that.
No one could get his brother over, James.
Yeah, Jesus and I were talking about Kendall before.
Yeah. Who's for some reason I always think of Bobby Duncombe Jr. when I think of Kendall Wyndham. I don't know why.
Well, they were in the Rednecks together.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you're thinking about the West Texas.
Because I saw them.
Texas Rednecks again.
I saw them live together. That's what it is.
Crap is crap.
Yeah. Can you believe I saw Flair, Benoit, and Malenko versus like Barry Windham, Kurt Hennig, and I can't remember if it was Bobby Duncombe Jr. or Kendall Windham. It was one of them.
Nice.
Like a house show.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's weird because Cage Match says Chris Jericho was in this match, but I was at this show. Chris Jericho was not at this show. Chris, I would have known because I was a big Chris Jericho fan. Like I would have known if he was in this match.
They take liberty.
Right.
Yeah, like a lot of these stats, they take liberties with a lot of shit. That people were there, or the attendance, the wrestlers. Because I was there in Poughkeepsie when I was in the audience when the Dudley Boys won the ECW belts on their very last match in ECW. I was there when Tommy Dreamer came in, and then in came Raven out of nowhere. I was there. I read somewhere where they said there were 10,000 people in that crowd. Bullshit. There was maybe 2,500. It was no, thank you, no. So like, it was like a lot of these numbers are like,
The most interesting thing I'll say about Cage Match and the two WCW house shows here in Huntsville, Texas, if you ever look them up, okay, they are listed as Huntsville, Alabama. So if you see if you see WCW's in the middle of a Texas tour and suddenly there's this detour to Huntsville, Alabama, it's not Huntsville, Alabama. It was Huntsville, Texas. So.
Maybe they put on the projected card. This was the first card that was available because the card's subject to change. So yeah. So,
well, man, I didn't know it was so late, amigos. Well, of course, I had a thing come up here.
Well, if you're not busy, Pedro, I mean, it's up to you guys. But I can stay another, like 5-10 minutes.
Oh,
if you guys want to keep going. It's up to you guys.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do it.
Let's do it. I came prepared. I got my shot right next to me, so I'm ready to go if need be. Live shot, live injection on air.
Yeah, James turns on his thing. I'm scrambling to turn the feed off. He's like, I'm doing this now.
Yo, Angie, what's up? You said when the PWI will come out and have the results in the back of the matches.
Oh yeah.
Out of my state. Yeah.
We've talked about wrestling magazines a long time ago, but I used to love the wrestling magazines for that kind of stuff. Or we used to talk about the photographs. We used to love the photographs. There's that. Do you remember? I don't know if it was PWI or one of them would put out an issue that was just photographs. It was like kind of a special issue.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And you'd get like, Abdul the Butcher covered in blood holding a spike, and you'd see like Wendy Richter like in the AWA or something or this and that. You'd see like all kind of stuff. I think the first time I ever saw Medusa Michelli was in one of those kind of deals, and we were like, "Who the hell is this?" Whoa!
Actually, the thing with me with the Aftermax, all the Aftermax, the first thing I would do as soon as I buy one, I would go to the very last page to see the wrestling rankings. Like who was the top 10? Like who was the number one contender? Like remember back in the day when when Pro Wrestling Illustrated refused to give WWF world title status. So the AWA World Champion, NWA World Champion, WWF Champion. I remember that. I was like, damn, no world title status for you. That was awesome back then. I used to love those mags. Hello? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure my internet don't do a Pedro again. The smell of the magazines. Yeah.
James, just be satisfied. I do not have reverb here in StreamYard.
Oh my God! Thank God. Pedro's king of reverb.
Then, you, B. Here, ring. Me. Like this.
We're like Pedro be doing a cosplay of my stuttering.
Cosplay? I got it. Do I do jazz hands along with it, or?
Oh, easy. Dusty Rhodes was always covered in blood. Yeah, he was. Him, Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody, all those pictures in the PW mags or the Aftermags. Yeah.
If we're lucky, Stan Hansen was covered in blood. Other times he'd be covered in tobacco juice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, all over his belly. Yeah.
Damn it, James. Damn it.
It's funny. I had friends that liked to chew tobacco. I couldn't stand it.
Oh, I couldn't.
And I would get boxes of raisins, and I would put raisins in my mouth.
Oh.
And it would look like chewing tobacco.
Holy shit!
Look at that.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That's some funny shit.
I mean, I've never smoked and I've never done any of that stuff, but I've always been around people doing that stuff. I can never understand the chewing tobacco. It looks so nasty, and you're just like, why do you want your mouth full of this like juice?
Yeah.
I just won't get it.
I used to smoke cigarettes, but I was the type of smoker. I was the type of smoker who hated when other people smoked cigarettes. Yeah, because I hated the smell on the clothes because everything stunk like cigarettes. So like after I would smoke, I would like Febreze my whole closet, my house, everything, because I hated the smell.
Zeus's version of peer pressure. Yeah, raisins instead.
Yeah, raisins.
Right?
It probably produced the same looking juice too. So
yeah, probably. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Imagine.
Oh, that's just.
Wait! Oh, Zeus, you could have fucked with him because hey, if you guys give me $100, I'll swallow all this juice I have in my mouth.
No.
Yeah, but it's like raisin juice.
Oh! I got it now. I was like, I hope this is not a first time viewers like the
No. If Zeus wanted to make a little money off his friends, you could say, listen, I got a mouthful of tobacco. Obviously, it was raisins. He said, I'll work up the spit, and then I'll swallow it if you give me $100. Because no way, you're not going to do that. And he swallowed it, but if everybody thinks it's tobacco juice, then it's raisin. So.
Oh, my God. Last night I was promoting the show a little bit.
Come on, Pedro. He's got to work the gimmick.
I was promoting the show a little bit last night, James, on the
Yeah.
Twitch, and then I was like, in my head, I was thinking like, I do not want these people to hear the show, but
Really? Wow. We that bad, Pedro?
I just imagining
You hear that?
I'm imagining these people being all into the music and stuff, and then they come and we're like the traveling whore. And,
Wow, Pedro's ashamed of us. That's brutal. No, Pedro, trust me, I get it because I don't think people who are DJ for the UK can understand anything that we're doing over here.
Did
You just called that young lady a whore. Oh man.
Yeah, I can't navigate a fucking cage match.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's a little difficult, and it's too much. You got to go through page after page after page to find shit. You got to have a lot of tedious nature to go through it. But,
and raisin juice. Yeah, you got there, you Angie. Ba-ding.
Hey, Angie, did you see Cocaine Bear trailer?
Oh, Angie, please tell me you saw that trailer.
White line running through my mind.
That shit is the greatest trailer to mankind ever.
Well, when I saw Duran Duran in 1995, there was part of this music festival this radio station was having, and they headlined the festival, and they played that song, and they had Dougie Fresh.
Oh, okay.
He did the rap parts.
I got that. I got that beat. Ready?
Yes.
I saw Grandmaster Flash in the Furious 5 actually do it.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was real young, and I went with my cousin, who was into he knew some of the people in one of these community centers. They were doing a show, and I was with my older cousin, and I saw Grandmaster Flash, the Furious 5. I saw Curtis Blow. I saw a few of those guys back then. But I grew up in the Bronx, so they were everywhere. So yeah, it was in the trailers. I saw Violent Night.
Angie. Is that with the guy from Stranger Things as Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen that trailer. Not as.
Yeah, Angie, watch Cocaine Bear. It's awesome.
Yeah, see, even the history of WWE
what
is not complete.
It's not.
Yeah.
There are a few.
Do you have a complete history of ECW, Zeus?
Yeah, they do. I mean, I think it was a little bit more. It's a little easier to document the history of ECW because of the amount of house shows that the RF video.
Yeah.
They handheld and they documented all that so you could look it up in their catalogs. You saw who was at each show, so they actually had better results. And whereas the early '90s WCW, nobody was really keeping track of it.
Be sure you wear your mask when you conduct your train to search a cage match for obscure wrestlers in ECW.
Why? I don't get it.
I think James gets it.
I don't remember the fist pump. I gotta check my head for fingerprints. Juice, you don't get it yet?
No, I'll post something in the chat for him. He'll
Oh my God! White lines.
get it. It's in the chat too. White line. You'll need them to find this guy. HCW show. Oh, no one's gonna know what we're talking about.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop. We gotta stop. It's gonna come out. It's just gonna come out.
Sorry.
It's gonna come out, man. It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. We gotta stop it.
Okay.
Oh, I don't want to do that. Man. I don't want to put someone on blast like that.
Okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Thomas the Tank Engine there.
There you go.
Oh, and hypothetically, a wrestler coming out saying "choo choo," yeah, that would be so. If a certain wrestler had come out saying "choo choo,"
ooh, choo choo Charlie, that was his name.
There you go.
Oh my goodness! So, we should get going, bro.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Yeah, I think that's our cue. It's gonna get ugly.
Angie is
come by, Angie.
It's great to see you, Angie. And hey, stick around. I'll play the show opening again for you to close the show, so you get some Barry Windham action.
That's right.
So, everyone, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you sometime in the future. We'll see what schedules allow.
Angie, don't worry. You have your Barry Windham poster back as soon as he's out of the hospital. Okay, he'll be good. He'll be good to go.
I also want to send best wishes out there to Bye Lucha because he's going through some medical stuff himself.
Right. Bye, Luch.
Love you, Luch.
Yeah, brother. You get well.
Yeah, everyone take care and adios.
Ooh. Mark out Mania.